Hello guys, another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the Demon's Plans, chapter 6 and 7. Like I said, it's a late review. 8 will probably be out later this week, so I wanted to get this done out of the way so I can just get on with the enjoyment. Oh my god, this is building up to be something exciting. So Demon's Plan is interesting because it's a very dark take on storytelling, and the problem you have with that is how do you tailor that to a younger audience without going overboard? And it's finding its footing because it's still within the first 10 chapters, but it's really done an interesting thing to pique my interest this early. I'm all for new mangas, new stories, that maybe not the big anime reviewers are going to look at and review on a regular basis, but I want to review that because I'm a fan of all manga, all new manga. I just haven't gone around to reading everything just yet. With that being said, what you're going to find from me with everything else, if something new comes out that I enjoy, I will be doing reviews on it. With that being said, let's get on to the review. So, chapter 6, and I don't know where to start with this because it starts off with a kind of a very dark, sad take. So I'll explain. So Boro comes out the winner, right? So that's what we know from episode or chapter 5. That's fine. Boro has the opportunity to kill his enemy, Veronika, he goes by that name. He doesn't, and he spares his life. So you think, okay, Wiki, that's cool, on his way. Then we find out the Patrons basically set up this whole thing for Veronika to kill Boro so that he can do what he wants with Carlos, or Boro, whatever you want to call him. Now, that's interesting because he didn't say he would harm him specifically, but he didn't promise anything about somebody else harming him. With this really being a tournament or a battle royale, so to speak, him setting up other demons to kill Boro off is an interesting way to find out how powerful Boro can be, and also a good way to get rid of threats that may hinder his protege. Now, that's all well and good. That's the dark element. But the sad element is, what was Veronika's motivations? And it turns out it was his betrothed. Basically, his betrothed, the person he wanted to marry, died, and the finger that he had in his ear was hers with the wedding ring on it. And I was like, wow. So his idea was to collect all these guns and weapons, basically kick everyone's ass, bring back his beloved, and show her his collection. And he dies thinking about that. So there's an interesting thing, and a parallel to Naruto, when it says you are who you are based on how you die. And when he died, he thought about the one he loved. So in essence, he was a lover more than he was a fighter, and he may have kind of held back a little bit because of how he was emotionally involved and what he felt from Boro. So I found that was really interesting. Now, going back to the Boro situation, there's an intruder at his place called Eustass Beauregard, I believe his name is, or Beauregard, I'm thinking it is pronounced. And his plan is to team up with Boro because of them selling, kind of, not selling, but having similar characteristics and not wanting to kill, and the fact that they're good people, and that resonates with him. But he also gives very important information and explains that many of the other people out there are teaming up, and the most powerful people are in one crew called the Dogma, which is, I believe, is translated to 10 foolish demons. So there'll be at least 10 of them. Now, he says that the highest ranking person is the dominatrix called Velvet Gloriosa, and they are so crazy that they've actually killed the king and took over the castle, which says a lot about how powerful they can be. And you got to think about realistic senses, like X-Men, like mutants, like people with superpowers. If they were to come in the real world, and there were loads of them, they were really powerful, who's to say they couldn't do that in real life, take down monarchies and take down dynasties with their power? That being said, it's an interesting dynamic when you look at it, and it is kind of a rhetoric in a sense when you look at it from the point of view of, with it being a battle royale, with them being effectively immortal, they could go on and use their powers forever if they didn't kill anybody, or I guess they didn't kill each other. But if they did get to a point where they wanted to find out a winner, they would basically have to kill each other. So is the plan for Dogma to kill everybody else first and then just have an all-out battle? Or is this a situation where they want to take care of everybody, them be the only people with power and live forever. It's an interesting to bear in mind, and it does end with them actually teaming up. Now, chapter 7 is where it gets really interesting. Now, you have to bear in mind, the storytelling, from what I can see, is Eustass' point of view. And the information you get from a storyteller is only as good as the bias of the storyteller. So take that into consideration with chapter 7, because we could easily be fooled later on and Eustass be lying, saying, oh, I was a spy for Dogma and things of that nature. So what we find out is the main motivation for Eustass isn't to become number 1, is basically to defeat and kill somebody. A guy called Rovlian Billy. Now, that sounds like a weird name, and you'd think his name would be Billy rather than Rovlian, but that's what he's called, and I don't know, it might be a Japanese thing where they do the same name first, but anyway. We find out about his past. We find out they were abandoned, or maybe the parents died very young, and he basically brought up his sister by himself, and they grew up together. We find out that his sister is basically going to get married to the son of the chief in their village, kind of their clan, and effectively that's what's going on. She's preparing. Now, she has a friend who's basically the chief's daughter, I believe, and she's supposedly ill. And you know, the sister's like, oh, I'm hoping that she got better, I wish she could see me, and all this stuff. The crazy thing is, we find out that in reality she's kept aside because Rovlian basically wants to rape the girl. That is crazy when you think about it, considering this is meant to be for children and early teenagers. That's a really dark take and a dark backstory. It could be someone that could easily be a nakama for One Piece, really. That's how dark and gruesome that is. So we find out that in the chief's house there is a demon's plan. Now, this is interesting because if the demon's plan was there, how was it everywhere else? This leads me to believe there's more than one, and basically Patron has kind of put it in different places to get as many chosen ones as possible. Whether it resonates with is fine. Now, we run into this Rovlian guy. He basically looks a bit like Django, and he's from One Piece. 1, 2, Django, that guy. And basically he wants to rape the girl. And effectively Eustass doesn't think that's right. Being that she's his sister's friend, he cannot overlook the fact that she's going to get raped. Even the chief himself says, look, if we don't do this, he's going to kill everybody. And it's kind of like the lesser of two evils, but in reality, how could you really knowingly know that a person's going to get raped just to save your own hide? Could you, in reality, allow someone to do that? In a lot of cases, no, because that's not really the right thing to do. And Eustass makes up his mind. So the idea is he wants to break her free, let her escape so that doesn't happen. But what happens? He gets caught by none other than Rovlian. Here's where she gets really crazy. Rovlian goes on to kill the girl, kill the chief, and kill his sister's betrothed, her husband to be, and is going to go and rape his sister. And that's how the chapter ends. But because the justice inside him, the need to do good and prevail, resonates, we see the demon plan allows him to be a chosen one. And that's how he got his demon's ability. But here's the thing, with it ending in that specific way, what do you think is going to happen next? I think that potentially Rovlian may also be one of the chosen ones that in the battle royale, because if you think about it, if he's got these abilities now, I'm sure I could basically go kill him if he was human or defeat him. That leads me to believe he's going to be one of the chosen ones, and that's why he needs someone to really be helping him out. I honestly believe that person's going to have an attack-minded type of ability, which is where Boro's going to help out because he's a defense-minded individual. So I really think that's how that dynamic's going to work. I could be completely wrong, I could be completely wrong. He might be lying about the whole thing, and he might just be setting Boros up for something else, Boro, whatever you want to call him. With that being said, we have to wait for next chapter to find out. I'm excited. It's a bit grey, it's a bit grim, but it's still interesting. So I will continue reading this. I will try to review this on a regular basis on time. Probably on a Friday, more than likely. Fingers crossed I can get within a regular routine. Without saying any further, thank you very much for my for my attention, for your attention on my video, I should say. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I greatly appreciate all of that. I really like to get this out and push an audience. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.